So it has happened. Liverpool have finally, finally agreed the deal by Leverkusen for Florian Wirtz. News confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. I'm excited. I'm here driving good as ever, and I had to pull over. And I had to talk about it because it's finally happened, guys. It's finally happened. As a Liverpool fan, and if you're a Liverpool fan watching this, never in a million years we would have ever thought of paying 150 million euros in add-ons for a player. Never in a million years would we think of even considering a player for that amount of money. And the fact that we did that, the fact that we took a leap of faith, so to speak, and somehow I dressed like a priest, I don't know why, or a pastor. Don't say anything in the comments. But I'm happy about it. And it now shows the intention that Liverpool are serious about not only going for the title for next season, but dominating English Premier League, dominating the league again. So the fact that you want to do more than just go for a trophy, go for number 21, the fact that now the reputation and of Liverpool is to compete for trophies at all times. But also now you have a point to prove because there is that stigma attached that you only score or win a league title when Man City has no players or players are injured. Now you have the impetus and drive to say we're going to go for it and go back to back. Not many clubs have done it. Arsenal has never done it. Only Manchester City, Chelsea, and of course Manchester United have done it, right? Twice in their three-peats. They've done it twice. So this is Liverpool's opportunity to do so. And I'm excited because I know what will happen. We know what is going to happen in terms of his quality. We know what the quality will be like. I anticipate his quality to be like far above most in the Premier League. His IQ, his football IQ, I think is in the 90th percentile in world football. And persons compare him to Pedri. I don't see it like that. I see him more of a Thomas Muller type. I think he is so spatially aware of his surrounding. It's scary at 22 as to how this young man thinks and moves and navigates through the field. And mind you, he's a prospect coming up into into his prime. So he hasn't hit his prime as yet, right? And the fact that Liverpool have invested this kind of money, it kind of goes to show again, it's a changing of the guard, so to speak. I said in a previous video that I don't think the impetus of or that pressure of Florian to deliver as how he did in Bundesliga is that much for him. I think what will happen is that you have Mohamed Salah, you have those that are the old guards that will, of course, integrate him into the Liverpool way, so that even if he scores, let's say 10 goals for the season and contributes with like, maybe 7 assists, 8 assists, doesn't matter. It's the fact that now he's getting time to get adjusted to the Premier League, getting adjusted to what he needs to, in terms of how he needs to play, of how he needs to get his foot wet in the Premier League. But I think Arne Slaughter is doing something, or is about to do something in the Premier League that we've never seen. I think he's about to try kind of change what football culture is like in terms of how you play the game. It's no more about position, it's about intelligence. It's about can you beat your man? Because again, we're shifting from this, it's a systematic way, and it's going to be a position. You stay here on the left side, you operate here in this particular space. No persons are exploiting the space. No persons have to be, one, very smart in terms of how you beat your man. Two, in terms of ability, of which is also important. And three, in terms of how adaptable can you be in understanding how you exploit your opponent's weaknesses. And I think PSG in this Champions League did that, and I think Arne Slot took notice of that. He said it in the second leg when he lost. He said that the best team won. One of the best team, not the best team in Europe, beat us, which is true. And you saw that 5-0. but it's how PSG operated. It's how PSG wanted to get the goals or create chances. It's how PSG pressed. It's how PSG used the ball when they had it. How they manipulated possession. How they manipulated the ball so well that it seemed like it was, you know, maybe 12 persons on the pitch. It- so I think that is something that Arne Slot is thinking. I think also with the Florian Wirtz deal, I think we're going to look maybe at a false nine if we don't get a striker. I think getting a striker would be the prime, or the most, the complete thing out of everything in a transfer. That's the most important thing to get because, of course, we've been linked with Alexander Isak, we've been linked with Hugo Ekitike, we've been linked with Victor Gyökeres as well. So I think there are very interesting reports that are not coming out, but unofficial reports stating, what Liverpool are looking for in a striker. And I think that is also going to play hand in hand with how Wirtz plays in the league. But if we don't get a striker, we still can use Diaz. If we do, I think the primary striker will be Alexander Isak. But I also think that there's a backup to him that we've heard about, but haven't fully considered. But my gosh. So we already know how the backline is going to be. The backline is Allison, Van Dijk, Konate, Frimpong slash Bradley, and Kirkes. Now we know the midfield is going to be I think the midfield is going to be very interesting. I'm very curious as to how the midfield is going to be presented on the pitch, particularly in big games. Because now you have Dominic Soboslai, who's very, very good at pressing, who is very good on the ball, who is very powerful in transition, which I think is going to be very, very pivotal and integral to how you keep possession in the big games, like against Arsenal, like against somebody out here, like against Arsenal, like against Chelsea, right? Like against Manchester City. How are you going to keep the ball? How are you going to play passes? Like against, of course, Arsenal being the best defensive team in Europe. How are you going to play around their press when it comes on to their 4-4-2 and how they press? How are you going to find pockets of spaces? But I think that is going to be something that is important. And I think also in certain games, how are you going to play against the likes of Newcastle, who is very good at pressing, who will go all out at pressing and press you right up to the edge of your 18-yard box, because they did that in the Carabao, right? But Florian Wirtz coming to pool shows one thing. It shows intention. It shows that there wants to be a sustained level of success. There a sustained level of dominance that I think we might be slowly going into. I think every team has a cycle as to how dominant they are, and you make the best out of it. In the 70s and 80s, it was Liverpool. In the 90s, it was between Manchester United and Arsenal. And in early 2000s, of course, Manchester United, and then 2004-5 is Chelsea up to a certain time, and then Manchester City came in. So I think that you do the most when you are on top, because when you're on top, it's the nicest thing ever. But once you begin to decline, it know how well are you able to slow that decline so that you can replenish again. And I think Liverpool have slowly started to incline or in an upward trajectory moment or momentum right now based on what is happening. And it's funny because as soon as you win the league, you still need more. And I think this is something that Liverpool and Liverpool fans have always wanted as to what exactly is the plan after a sustained level of success, right? You can let me know in the comments. You can let me know. But I'm happy, yo. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm excited. I know the Premier League doesn't start in another what? 2 months? 2 months? I'm happy. I don't expect major things in the early parts, and we'll talk about that later down in the summer as to how the team will look and how I think they will operate. But I I anticipate great things, and I think with the choice manager that Liverpool went after in Ernest, that they didn't go for the pretty name like Ruben Amorim. They probably wanted Xabi Alonso, but I think they found a manager that is able to be more real, and also in terms of communication wise. I think also in terms of understanding what is happening in football and how not only the data but the eye test for himself speaks about that. But guys, like, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you agree, and let's see if we can get this subscriber count up to 200. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.